Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Relix, and today we are going to discuss the LA Kings season up to the quarter mark. We have now played a total of 20 games, and by the time this video comes out, you guys will actually be preparing for game 21 for today, or I guess in this case your day. This is me on Saturday, the day before. So I felt a little bit behind. I wanted to kind of do it when the other teams in the league were around the quarter mark as well. Some teams have already played 24 games. Some, like us, are still at 20. That being the case, either way, this is the quarter mark. There's 82 games in the season, and we're on game 20 for the LA Kings. So that's where I'm going to be at for, the next 20 games at game 40, and then 60, and then, of course, end of the season. Just before playoffs. So I'm going to start with discussing about how I feel about the Kings. You guys have watched my previous videos. You guys know that I did some games. I know I've fallen off of that just because there wasn't as much stuff I needed to really cover, and I wanted to maybe see a progression from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. And I think doing quarters now is actually a good thing for us. We can see how the Kings have improved and or have gone worse in any ways, throughout the season. And starting from the preseason to now, I have definitely seen an improvement in some areas and some disappointments in others. One of the biggest things I want to talk about is scoring. And the Kings, as of today, are currently the second best scoring team in the NHL right now at, I think, 4.0 goals for per game. I believe that's the number. At least that's the number I saw online. And to see that from the Kings, 2 years in a row now, we are scoring goals, a lot of goals. So to see that is absolutely amazing. Yes, everyone loves goals. Everyone loves goal scoring. It's phenomenal. I have no doubt that the Kings can score goals. However, can we play defense? And that's something that the Kings have always prided themselves on, is playing defense in front of their, especially in front of their home fans. And unfortunately, the Kings are not doing enough at home. While on the road, we are undefeated. To this day, at game 20, we are undefeated with 9 straight road wins. We are making history. We are now tied for second place for the most road wins to start a season. One more will tie first place with 10, and then if we keep going after that, then we'll have an NHL record after that. So that's one thing. It's great to win on the road. That's absolutely amazing, and I think the Kings are doing a really good job of it. And that goes to my point. Who I want to talk about next is Cam Talbot. He's proved me wrong. Apparently, the preseason, it's just preseason. Like I said, during those videos, anything can happen. I said Talbot wasn't my goalie. I said Copley would be the starter. I don't blame Copley for any of the losses necessarily, though. Keep in mind that if you guys have watched the Kings games, don't look at the numbers in all of its entirety. You have to watch the games to know what's happening. And I feel, my opinion, of course, everything I'm going to say is my opinion, but I feel like when Copley was in net for the first few games that he started on the season, I felt like the Kings were not playing well. They were not playing good in front of him. They were not defensive. They weren't back checking. They gave up too much in front of the net, and I think that's why Copley got scored on as much as he did to start the season. So I do not blame Copley for any of his losses necessarily. Is he 100% not at fault? No, of course not. There's a couple that I know, there's a couple wraparound goals that he needed to improve upon. However, he has been pretty solid as of late, as has Talbot, and I think the goaltending issue coming into the season that everyone in the league, everybody was thinking about, I think that's out the window. No one cares about that anymore. I don't think anyone's going in and facing the Kings are like, oh man, the goaltending is weak, we can score. No, I don't think that's an issue. I think the Kings have been solid all season long. So First, let's take a look. Let's take a look real quick. Here are the NHL standings as they are right now, as of today, Saturday, December 2nd. As you guys can see, we are right here in the middle. I can't highlight it. We are number 7th in the league. If you guys can actually see the numbers, games played, we have the least amount, tied with the Capitals, who are in 12th, for games played out of the entire league in the top 20. That's pretty insane. So that means we are 7th ranked team, and we have games in hand. If we win, let's just say we win the next game, right? That's 31 points. That'll put us past the Avalanche. Well, maybe not regulation wins over overtime, but that's okay. So it would be like 4-5 area, and then we win again. You know, we're already in second. Like, my goodness, that's crazy to think about. We're in the top echelon of the teams in the league. That's crazy to think about. The Kings. And on contrast to last year, where we were the only team in the league with a minus goal differential. We were the only team in the top, I think, half with a goal differential that was a minus. This year, we have the highest goal differential besides the Vancouver Canucks. 28 to their 31. That is pretty insane to think about. That the difference from going from minus to plus from one year to the next, that's pretty insane. You guys can also see our home and away records. It's pretty good. Obviously, shootout, we need to work on that. But overall, our last 10 games, 7-2-1. That's pretty good. And we just lost to the Capitals. It was a 1-2 loss, but that's okay. They're doing okay too. They actually made a comeback for their season as well, after having a bad start. And so, and if you think about the losses too to start the season, we went against the division champions. We went against the Hurricanes. We went against the Avalanche. We went against the Golden Knights, and we went against the Lightning. And they're all division champions from last year. And just to say that we, have this record still after going, those losses at home, that's pretty good. Honestly, the Kings have impressed me way beyond expectations, and I can't say any more than that. Let's go on to the Western standings. So if the playoffs were to start today, this is what it would look like as of right now. Golden Knights in first, Canucks second, and Kings, in third. However, look at the games played. They have 4 games more than us entirely. Let's just say we won all 4. That's 8 points. That puts us at 37. I mean, we passed all of them completely. I mean, obviously, we're probably not going to win all 4, probably. However, that's just crazy to think about, that the Kings, the defensive team, is scoring a ton of goals, and we would be on top of the Pacific. That's something that hasn't been done in the entire time I've been watching hockey. I mean, I have been watching hockey for now 12 years, and to see that this is happening now, this is pretty crazy to think about. And then, of course, you look at the other teams too in the league. The Central, they're not much impressive either. Actually, in the Pacific, everyone thinks the Pacific is the weakest division in the entire league, but right now we're going strong. I mean, all 3 teams are really strong. And then you got the wild card teams. Honestly, you can't say enough about the Oilers having the season they are. That's just sad. For a moment, I was like, are they really going to be like one of the bottom teams in the entire league? They're trying to turn it around. McDavid is starting to score more, and I think, they'll definitely come back around. They may be pushing a wild card, but it's tough to say. But again, this is just the quarter. Anything can happen. Anything can change at any time. We can fall out at any time as well. So, no team is truly out yet. It's just a matter of whether or not teams can get their act together. And I think the Kings have definitely got that going. And with this road record, hopefully we keep it going all the way. So, I can't go into the season, the season discussion without talking about points and scoring and stuff. So let's take a look at a few of those numbers real quick. So first off, let's look at the points here. You guys can see on the screen that we have a bunch of, variety of scores. And one of the scores I want to talk about is Kempe, who leads the team, or rather is tied with Fiala for a team lead in scoring. So Kempe, he's definitely starting to get his game going. However, to start this season, a little off. He didn't score goals. The only goals he was getting was empty net goals, and I think it was like three straight empty net goals to start his season. I mean, that's not good, right? So for a guy who just scored a 40-goal season and before that a 30-goal season, he definitely needed to pick up his game, and I think he is definitely doing that more as of late. But I think the past couple of games he's been a little off. But overall, if you guys watch my player review from the summer, I said he needed to play defense, and he has done that. Kempe has done that from start to finish. I can't say enough. Well, again, he may not be scoring goals, but he is playmaking. I mean, he leads the team in points with Fiala. He is playmaking. He is back-checking. He is playing great PK, great defense. Kempe is definitely one of the top-tier players on the team. If only he could get his sniping going, then, maybe like 1 or 2 goals every single game, then on a consistent basis, no less, then definitely, the Kings will have even more, weapons at their disposal instead of just relying on the other players. The other guy I want to talk about is Fiala. Again, he's just one of those players that he can make or break a moment's, a rush, a scoring chance, a power play. He is very skilled. I don't deny that. But at times, he's undisciplined. He tries to do too much. That's one reason why I didn't like Andreas Athanasiou, who was with us a couple seasons before that. Basically, he's like his replacement, right? Athanasiou always tried to do too much, tried to just be 100% offense, no defense. And I blamed him for playoff losses as well as game losses throughout the regular season. But Fiala, a little bit different. He is learning to play a little bit more defense compared to last year. And I think I'm seeing that improvement. And I think after my player review, I can definitely say he is definitely a little bit changed. However, it's not 100% there. I think he still needs improvement as far as defense. But it's definitely going better than it was last year. And I definitely think that helps that he's now acclimated to the team, whereas last year he was coming in fresh. Again, another big surprise is Trevor Moore. He is tied with Kopi for third. Not technically second, but it's third on the team with points. And he's impressed me quite a bit. Again, I harped on him about not scoring after the Christmas break last year. And again, this is just the quarter, right? We're just getting to December, so same thing might even happen this year. But he was not consistent, and he just fell off completely. And I really got on his case about it because whatever he did during the Christmas break that got him injured, that came to haunt him back in the regular season. And in the end, he was kind of useless. But this year, he's coming back with fire in his heart, and he is playing really good hockey. Like, he's sniping it, playing defense, offense. He's doing everything right now. Honestly, you can argue he might be one of our best, top 3 players on the team right now. Not just because he's scoring, but just in general. He is definitely a top 3 player. So, see that Trevor Moore is doing really good, and considering that he was, kind of like one of those players are wishy-washy. You don't know if he's going to play second, third line, doesn't really matter at this point. But coming into the season, it was a question of what are the 3 top forward lines going to look like? Is Dubois or Deneau going to be the second line center? Who's going to get more time on ice? And I definitely think more Deneau and whoever their other winger is, because Arvidsson's currently injured, whoever is on that line, I think that line is definitely producing more than I thought they would. At least right now. If this keeps up, Moore's on track for a 70-point season. That's pretty crazy to think about, considering he's just kind of your middle 6 guy, not supposed to be most outstanding or anything like that. And then same thing for Kopitar. I feel like he's definitely playing a strong season so far. Again, he's also on track for a 70-point season, and I think that's awesome because he is he is actually the oldest player on the team. If not, he's our captain. He is leading by example. A lot of people think he doesn't play enough offense, which I can agree to some extent. Yes, he definitely needs to play a little bit better offensively. However, I think overall he has a great shot that he has utilized this season already. And then 2 is, basically I think he's playmaking a lot. Some turnovers, yes, but defense is always his first go-to, arsenal, and I think he has played phenomenal defense throughout the entire season. Obviously, he can't be perfect, and I think people criticize him for that, but I don't really criticize him at all. I think Kopitar's having a really good season to start, and same goes for Byfield, who is right under him in scoring. Byfield, again, not a goal scorer, but, and I said it in my player review, if you guys go back to my summer player reviews, I paired him and Lizzie up in the same video. Why? Because Lizzie is a hard worker, Blake Lizotte that is, and even though Lizotte is a bottom liner, he played harder and plays a lot better than Byfield did. But that has changed. Ever since preseason, Byfield has played a phenomenal game. It's almost a game you can say is recognizable as a number 2 overall draft pick. Again, I mentioned in that video that when Byfield gets his passes on, it is some of the most beautiful passes I have seen in the NHL. And so far during the season, that remains true. I have seen some of the most beautiful passes I've seen this season out of any players in this league from Byfield. And some of it is, you can say maybe it's lucky. You can say maybe it was a no-look pass and it just happened to go with someone's stick. But I think they were skilled. I think they were absolutely set up perfectly. And I think Byfield's definitely showing he has the talent to be a top 6 forward. But the question is, can he keep it up? Can he score some goals? That's the biggest question coming in after the quarter is, can this consistency keep up? And hopefully it does, because I honestly, since preseason, he's definitely kept it up. So good for him. I hope he keeps going. Overall, the lineup itself, if you guys keep looking at the points, it's kind of where we expect them to be. I think the biggest surprise is definitely the 4th line. I know I love Lizotte. I love Blake Lizotte as a player. He's short. He's very tough, and he gets down and dirty in the boards and everything. He does everything. I praise him a lot. And him leading the 4th line, whoever the wingers are, doesn't matter. Bring in Trevor Lewis again, and then for the most part it was Grundstrom on the bottom. They played an amazing game. Honestly, you cannot deny that they are definitely one of the best 4th lines in the league. They can hit, they score, they get on the forecheck. Honestly, the possession numbers are actually very good. You can't say enough about them. And I think whenever teams, or broadcasts say, oh man, the Kings look great down the center, they always say 1, 2, 3. They say Kopitar, Dubois, and Deneau. No one ever mentions Lizotte, except for a select few. Mike Rupp on the NHL Network, he mentions Lizotte. He loves his game. Jim Fox on our own Valley Sports always mentions that Blake Lizotte is there too. He never forgets him. And I think that's the most important thing. It's not just a 1, 2, 3 center depth. It's a 4 centers depth. Now, granted, I don't think Dubois is definitely playing to his, expectations, but Lizotte is definitely making up for it. And overall, I think the team is pretty solid, well-rounded too, throughout the entire lineup. Coming in, it was a little shaky, but looking back on it, I think we were pretty solid. And after watching our play this season so far, I can say for certain that yes, we are definitely playing better than what's on paper. Something I want to look up is the not the points anymore. So let's take that away. Look at the goals. So here you go. More Kopitar, Kempe. Like I said, they turned it on. You guys can also see Grunstrom is up there. Again, mostly playing on the fourth line. He's gotten actually, I think, 1 or 2 playing with Deneau's line now, which is a good step up for him. Overall, these are the top goal scorers on the team. Look, Blake Lizotte is in there as well at the very bottom. He has 4. Honestly, he's actually on pace for a career high in everything. So, and then here you go. You got Doughty as well at the bottom for leading D. I think it's really well-rounded scoring. And then to see that Kaliev is also. So again, I think I paired Kaliev and Grunstrom together in their player reviews. I wanted them to trust their shots, and they are definitely doing that a lot more this season than they did before, especially Grunstrom. He is definitely shooting more, and it is showing. He is definitely getting his shots in, and it is phenomenal. I'm very happy with his production so far this season, and I hope he keeps it up. And then we take that away. We go to the assists. You take a look at the assist list. Fiala, Kempe, Byfield. Okay, Byfield, yes. The assists are there. I told you guys that. Kempe, slow start for the goal scoring. But again, leads the team. He is definitely scoring more goals lately, so that's great. Fiala, again, playmaker, can make or break moments, a play in the moment. And unfortunately, he needs to get more goal scoring. But it's great that he's playing a really strong game offensively as far as getting points. He was playing with Dubois for a time, but it's kind of wishy-washy now because honestly, I think it's good that he got off Dubois' line and is playing with Deneau and Moore right now because Dubois is just not good. I mean, I for a guy who's making $9 million this year, Dubois is just pathetic. He is probably, in my opinion, he is definitely one of the weakest players, mainline roster players on the team. He is definitely not playing like a $9 million player. He definitely doesn't deserve the money he's getting, and I think he was overhyped. I thought he was overhyped. I made a whole video on the trade, and I thought the Kings' season was doomed because of it. It's not over. We're actually winning, but Dubois is not helping much. If we go to, I'm just going to tell you the analytics here. Obviously, look, he's not exactly at the top of the assist list, right? And then you take the goals. He's not even on. He's not even like top tier goal scorer either. 11 points, right? It's not very good for a $9 million player. Yes, he has to acclimate to the team. But even Fiala was scoring last season, even if he wasn't disciplined. But Dubois is he's very slow. He's unmotivated. Honestly, his hustle is like one of the worst on the teams. I can't say enough about how lazy he looks on the ice every day. I try to, look for the bright sides. And there are some bright plays that he looks great. But majority of the time, it's not working out. And while we are only at the quarter, I hope he improves. Because he needs to get his game together. If he can, again, this is like the player reviews. If he can get his game together, the Kings will look even better than they are now. Because right now, his line with him, Alex Laferriere, and Grunstrom, because Grunstrom got moved up, they look pretty crappy, honestly. Grunstrom probably looks the best out there. Laferriere, he had a decent start. He looks great on the forecheck. However, he's not scoring anything. I think he's overthinking his plays, if I want to maybe put it that way. Laferriere, I didn't think he was going to make the team at all out of training camp, but he did surprise me with his forecheck capabilities, which is why he would probably work on Lizotte's line better than playing on Dubois' line. But in general, Dubois just isn't a good center. I don't think he's playing to his maximum potential. If anything, maybe he should have played wing. That's how I projected him to play, at least. I wanted him to play wing instead of Byfield with Kopi and Kempe. However, Byfield showed up and he decided to play. So that's probably why they have them, the four centers down the middle. But overall, he needs to do better. I think if he can, start shooting more, I think he passes way too much, and his passes are not even good. Like I praise Byfield for his beautiful passes. Dubois probably has some of the worst passes I've seen this season. And that's not just the Kings. I'm talking like the league. It's pretty bad. But that's my opinion, of course. I watch every game. Even if I've missed it, I record the game. I watch it later. I've watched games over again. I like to see how the plays are progressing, how the team is making the plays. And Dubois is just one of those guys who has not impressed me at all whatsoever. And I think this is just one of those stats that show it. The goals, the assists, the points, plus, minus. I'm going to show you guys both real quick. This is the top of the team. There's only a couple of members who are not listed here. I mean, look at the top three guys on the left side of the screen. Kempe, Kopitar, Byfield. It's your top line, the first line, right? With Doughty and Mike Anderson. The top line players, the first line players, they're doing it. They're getting it done. Again, who's next? England. I didn't think we needed him, but he's showed up. Like, he was probably one of the best defensive Ds I've seen in a long time. As far as, being young too, no less. He has impressed me a lot, and he is scoring assists here and there. And then next up, who is it? Blake Lizotte. Why? Because he's awesome. Blake Lizotte is definitely one of the more defensive bottom line, forwards in the league, and he wins faceoffs. Granted, his face-off percentage is only like 47% right now, and he does get kicked out quite a bit. But that's okay, because he has a backup. He has Trevor Lewis, his winger, who is also on this list on the right side. Again, these guys are all pluses. And to see that Lizotte, Kaliev, Spence, Grunstrom, Lewis, they're all up there. They're all up there in the plus minus. That's pretty insane to think about. That's your first line and your fourth line. And to say that they have the highest plus minus on the teams, that's pretty insane to think about. I mean, technically your fourth line should have like even ratings or minuses, right? But that's not the case with the Kings. If you guys can also see on the right side of the screen, you have Deneau, Leferrier, Moore. Their plus minuses are on the single digits, not super high. But you know who's not on this list? Fiala and Dubois. As of right now, they are the only players with a minus on the team. Dubois has a -1 and Fiala has a -4. Why is that? Because they can't play as good of defense as the rest of the team. I am also harping on Deneau as well because I don't see the hustle. Just like Dubois, I don't see the hustle in Deneau's game this season compared to the last couple. It's there, at times, but even Deneau, Dubois, and Fiala, they have to get their game together. They're all playing pretty lazy hockey, if not risky, and it doesn't pay off. A lot of turnovers from them, and I'm very disappointed in them. However, it is a good sign to see that the fourth line in general is playing really solid hockey. I mean, game after game, day by day basis, our broadcast is always praising how the fourth line is always in on the forecheck. Heck, I've watched ESPN and TNT broadcasts, and they praise our fourth line for getting on the forecheck. They, like I said, when some of them actually pay attention, they praise Blake Lizotte and his forecheck. Even though he's a little guy, he gets in the dirty areas no matter how big the opponent is. They could be like twice his size, and he'll still be in there trying to, push them around, hit them around, and, get the puck, win puck battles. Kings are definitely good at winning puck battles along the boards, and the fourth line is definitely a contributor on that. So, I know I just keep re-emphasizing everything I have said before, but it's just because it's true. And I think that's one of the biggest things why the Kings are such a good team right now is because everyone, well, for the most part, everyone is in on the game. Everyone is contributing. Everyone is, everyone's doing the same stuff. Everyone's trying to score. Everyone's trying to play defense, back check, get in the dirty areas, front net. Okay, well, front net still needs a little help, but we got the goaltending solid. Everyone's trying to win. Honestly, it's like most of the time I felt like some of the players before, they didn't put their hearts into it. They didn't try as hard. But this year, I definitely seeing a lot more effort from everybody overall, and I think that's definitely showing up. The last thing I want to talk about before I end this video is the penalties. Again, here's our penalty minute leaders on the team. As you guys can see, England leads, but that's because he has fights. And of course, he's not the most skilled player, so of course he's just going to lead with maybe minors too. But look who's second, Dubois, and that's not even with a fight. He's taking way too many penalties. Fiala's taking way too many penalties. Very undisciplined, those two. I can't say enough how much I'm disappointed in their games. Again, I've mentioned it already throughout this video, but they have moments. They do have moments. And like I said, Fiala more than Dubois. Fiala is getting better. I mentioned in his player review, he led the league in minor penalties last season. The league. He is a star player on the team, and he led the league in minor penalties. That's not right. And so, he's ready at it. He's already leading our team with penalty minutes. Like that's just insane. So, yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that. And again, going down even to number 4, or the 4th in penalty minutes, Matt Roy. Honestly, if I had to argue, he's probably the worst defenseman on our team this year. Whereas contrast to last year playing with Jersey, I felt like Roy was literally the best defenseman on the team. Because he did all the little things. He wasn't exactly scoring a ton, but he wasn't doing anything wrong. Nothing wrong. But this year, it's turnover here, turnover there. Offensive, defense, it doesn't matter. Neutral zone, can't hit, not doing anything there. Honestly, I'm very disappointed in Matt Roy's game. Very saddened to see that. Again, the numbers maybe not necessarily show it. I mean, if you look at the plus minus again, he's a +6, so he's in the middle of the league, the team, right? But to me, again, it's one thing to look at on the stats, look on paper. It's another thing to watch the games. There's a difference. And I think watching Matt Roy throughout the entire season, him and Gavrikov are just not working out. Especially Gavrikov, who's being paid a lot more, he is not playing to the money's worth. And I did mention that I didn't like that deal. I did say that it was not going to be good, but he proved me wrong when he came to the team. So hopefully, after the quarter is now over, maybe they got their legs going. Maybe they'll improve their game going forward. I don't know. We can only hope so, because honestly, Mikey Anderson and Drew Doughty playing great hockey. Especially Doughty, he's playing really good. I wish he would shoot more, because some of our comeback wins is because Doughty's shooting from the point. Definitely needs to play better, or offensively. Again, just like Kaliev and Grundstrom, trust his shot. Doughty has a great shot. He needs to trust it more. Biggest surprise, I think, is Spence. Jordan Spence coming in and replacing Jersey on the right D. I think he's doing a decent job. He definitely takes a lot of pounding, along the boards. But I think it's really good. He's playing solid defense. And him in England, I think they have amongst all the D pairs, I think England and Spence have the best chemistry on the entire team. But that's my opinion. Even better than Anderson and Doughty. There's just something about Spence and England that is so balanced. Like, they know when one will pinch. Yes, England can pinch too. They just know when one pinches and the other, should come back. They don't really give many odd man rushes compared to the other D pairs. And I think that's saying something, considering that they play the bottom D pair. So, as a big surprise, yes, I think Jordan Spence is playing a decent game. Again, he's quarterbacking the second power play unit that Jersey was doing. I think he's okay. Definitely not the best at the job, but it's definitely better than like putting Matt Roy out there. And I wish Spence would. He does shoot a lot, but I wish he would shoot and shoot for a lane. He tends to get his shots blocked or just shoot for a deflection or a tip. He needs to trust his shot more too. Even get on the offense and take a wrister. Anything to get things going. And I think if he could do that, his game will improve a lot, and he'll get more accolades, to show that he is a good player. But overall, I'm just looking at the penalty minutes again, and it's like, besides those top guys, you look at the bottom guys on this list, Lizotte, Lewis, Grunstrom, the fourth line, they get on all the dirty areas. They take all the physical punishments, and yet they don't take penalties. 4 each. That's pretty crazy. So, I mean, even Kopi has more. Kopi has 3 minors. That's pretty insane. So, overall, I do think that the Kings are playing superb hockey right now, and I hope it keeps up, especially that road record. We want to be undefeated, right? I mean, how many games can we go undefeated? I know I'm probably going to jinx it right now, right? But overall, I am so impressed. And even though I have my issues with Dubois, Fiala, playing bad hockey, or more or less, not to the maximum potential, considering they're paid $9 million Dubois and $8.1 Fiala, I think there's still room for improvement. It's only the quarter, and I think if everyone can pitch in even just a little bit more, we could be the freaking top team in the league by the end of the season. I mean, the Kings, President's Trophy winners, that's just unheard of. Honestly, as far as I've been watching hockey, Kings have always been a wild card team. Like, I don't think they're ever like the top tier team in the league, nor are they the very bottom. And to see that we can be the number 1 team in the league with the team we have now, I don't even consider this the best Kings team ever. Like, honestly, I figure, from when I started watching hockey back in 2012 to 2014, the Cup years, I felt like the 2014 was the best team we ever had. But I don't know. A lot of people are starting to say that this is the best team ever. I don't agree, but right now it is definitely showing to be that way, and hopefully we keep it up. So, yeah, just to end the video, that's just how I want to, that's just the quarter, right? This is just the first quarter. We'll see where we go next, but to end the video, I just want to also look at the Eastern Conference teams. So we looked at the West. My picture's not moving. There we go. So we looked at the West. Let's look at the East too, just real quick, just for you guys' information, so you guys can, or even for me, I could look back on this as well. One of the biggest surprises is Bruins, actually. Again, they were one of the teams that went undefeated for a good while to start the season. But, nothing good ever lasts forever, right? And so they lost a few games. But they're still top of the league. I mean, that's pretty insane. They lost Bergeron and Krejci. And, new captaincy under Marchand. I'm very impressed. And, again, I'm a Bees fan, outside of the Kings too. Obviously, I'm number 1 Kings forever. But Boston Bruins for the East is definitely my favorite team in the East. And they're just amazing. I think it's amazing what they've done, considering they've lost so much, Panthers, Maple Leafs, strong teams, strong, forwards and everything. But their defense lacks, and I think that's evident. As you guys can see, their plus-minus differential as well. Metropolitan, the Rangers, probably one of my big surprises. I wasn't expecting them to be like the number 1 team. I was expecting like the Hurricanes or the Lightning to be up there. Or no, sorry, not the Lightning, but the Hurricanes for sure. But yeah, I mean, granted, the Hurricanes did lose some games, and it's actually quite surprising because I have fantasy. I play fantasy too, and I'm shocked that the Hurricanes are doing not as good as they, were projected to be doing. And then same thing with the Capitals. I'm a little surprised that the Capitals are even in the division spot. Biggest surprises is Lightnings and Penguins and Devils are not in the top epsilon of their team or their conferences or their divisions. Devils are probably the biggest one. They've been losing, and they have such a strong lineup. I mean, I know Jack Hughes was injured for a while, but they have such a strong lineup. Same thing with the Penguins. They have a good center depth. I mean, they got Crosby, Malkin, Carter, down the middle. I don't know who their other center is, but either way, they have a great lineup too. But they're all, those teams are just not in. I mean, the Lightning too, they're not in. Like, how's that even a thing? I know Vasilevsky's out, and again, I always said that, the Lightning are nothing without all their pieces put together. And having, just losing Vasilevsky, you're telling me that's all it takes for the Lightning to start losing? That's pretty insane. I mean, I've seen some highlights and clips, and even Stamkos missing the net from like point blank range with one-timers. Like, oh my god, that's so unheard of. So I'm a little shocked at the standings in the East, just as I am with our standings in the West. I mean, who would have thought that the Kings would be one of the best teams in the league if we were to catch up in games played? Obviously, the Avalanche are still on top. The Stars from last year as well, they're still going with Jason Robertson. The Jets is probably one of the bigger surprises, but they do have, some of our players there. Granted, we were the ones who hurt Gabe Vilardi, so that's kind of sad. I don't know how he's doing. I don't know if he's back yet. But if he is, great. Obviously, the biggest surprise, I think, for everyone in the league is the Oilers being at the bottom. That's just saying something. That's pretty sad to think about, that McDavid and Draisaitl could go from 1 year having their career best seasons, all of a sudden having their worst seasons. Like, that's pretty sad to think about. And I am a McDavid and Draisaitl, lover. I do love watching them play. I love watching their teamwork, their chemistry, and I wish them all the best, honestly. In the long term, yes, of course I would like to see them win Stanley Cups, but obviously Kings first. But as of right now, they've got issues and they need to fix it. So hopefully they turn it around eventually. Now, again, I don't want them coming up and beating us either, but I definitely don't want to see them at the bottom. They don't deserve that. And if you guys, oh my god, honestly, if you have ever looked at their team, look at their roster, look at who's scoring points. It is literally their top 6 forwards who are the double digits. The rest of the entire lineup is single digits, if not very low single digits. Like, we're talking 1 to 4 points for everyone else. Like, that's just sad. Like, how can you be an NHL player and just not score? Like, it's just unheard of. I think it's very sad for the Oilers. If Oilers fans are watching this, I feel for you, man. I really do. I am so mind blown that the bottom, like, and it's not just this season, it's a lot of the past seasons with McDavid and Draisaitl leading the charge, that the bottom liners, how do you guys not play to your heart's, to your maximum heart potential and try and score something? Like, how are you an NHL player and you don't score anything at all? How do you not help your captain who's leading the league in points? How does that happen on a year-by-year basis? And it's not like the bottom liners are nobodies either. They are NHL names, And so, to think that the Oilers are still at the bottom because of their lineup sucks, that's sad. That's just really sad. So again, that is the biggest surprise for me at the quarter. Otherwise, yeah, so Oilers are the biggest surprise, being at the bottom. Another big surprise is the Kings being one of the best teams in the league. That's really a big surprise for me. And I'm a Kings fan all the way through. Obviously, the next big surprise for me is also seeing the Lightning not in a spot right now, and of course the Bruins, even after losing Bergeron and Krejci. So that's just my opinions. Again, 20 games in, obviously we're 20 games in, then the rest of the league is like 21, 22, 23 games. But yeah, we'll see where things go from here. Again, I will be back again with another one at the halfway mark at 40. Actually, we'll maybe save it from 40 or 41. We'll see, because halfway is technically 41. But we'll see. I really hope the Kings continue their pace. I really hope their road record remains undefeated for as long as possible. You go the whole season, which I know is not possible, but if you go the whole season without losing since the opening night on the road, that's it. That's just recipe for victory, you know. And I just want to say this video is going on a little longer than I thought it would, but I have a lot to say, and I think you guys, if you guys have been watching the Kings games with me, you guys know that the Kings are playing great hockey. They are fun to watch. Honestly, if you aren't watching the Kings, check them out. Whenever you guys get a chance, check out the Kings. They are a team to watch. We are scoring on a 4 goals per game average. That is pretty insane. I mean, if you want to see some goals, watch the Kings. And some of these goals are just absolute beauties. They're not just like, take a snipe, you score. I mean, we're setting up some beautiful play. Again, Byfield's setting up some beautiful plays. Kopi, Kempe, even some of the defensemen, the fourth line's getting on it. Watch our team. And if you guys are Kings fans and you have been watching, let's just keep it up, right? Let's just make sure the fan base is supporting the team and making sure the Kings know that we are all watching, we are all cheering, and hopefully this keeps up as much as it has been, because honestly, I'm just so impressed with the numbers. I keep turning my focus to the screen with the stats, and I'm just mind blown. Like, I can't say enough. Again, I know I'm rambling now. I'm repeating myself. So, going forward, I just want to conclude. Hopefully, the Kings keep going. Win or lose on the road, I don't care. It's going to eventually break. There's no way we'll keep it up. But hey, I'm looking for first place in the Pacific. By the time game 40 or 41 comes around, I'm looking for first place. The way we're going, there's just no reason for us to stop. And of course, I am expecting Dubois and Fiala. Those two are my X-Factor players. I'm expecting those two to improve their game. I'm expecting Kempe to improve his goal scoring. And I'm expecting the goaltending to remain solid. That's my expectations going the next 20 to 21 games. So hopefully you guys agree with what I had to say in this video. If you didn't, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know anything. Talk to me. I want to hear from you guys too. Kings fans, non-Kings fans, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the rest of the league? Let me know in the comment section. I will reply to you as soon as possible. But if you guys like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. Again, I haven't done as much hockey. I really do want to get back into the hockey as much as I can. I know there's a few games I missed, like milestones for Kopi, milestones here and there, and other important issues. But I am going to try and get back into hockey videos as much as I can. And I may even, I don't know, I don't think I'm going to address the Bedard issue in the Blackhawks. Honestly, that's a whole nother can of worms I don't want to open. So I'm not even going to mention that anymore. If you guys haven't heard that, please go watch some guys on YouTube. If you guys go and check out Eckhart's Ladder, he actually does some good hockey videos as well. If not, go watch some NHL news and stuff like that. You can even look on the app. The app sucks, but it gets its point across here and there. But all the hockey news. So just pay attention. Pay attention to the Kings. Pay attention to the rest of the league. Hockey is very interesting this year. I know it's different every year, but this year specifically, I feel like it's very weird. Like, there's no one who's safe from being, having a random win streak or a random losing streak. Honestly, it's probably one of the more weird seasons I've seen out of the 12 years I've been watching hockey. There's no consistent, these guys are at the top, these guys are at the bottom. It's kind of mixed. Besides the very top teams in the league right now in each division, the rest of the league is kind of a mixed bag. So, we'll see what happens. Next 20 games, we'll see what happens. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Stay tuned for whatever comes next, whether it be more of my game stuff or even more hockey videos. I hope you guys enjoy it all. And of course, go Kings go. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.